Police headquarters.
Just a minute, please.
Detective Bureau, Captain Young.
This is Charles Sampson, president of the Investors Realty Syndicate.
Yes, Mr. Sampson?
I'm at the Third National Bank on Shortridge Avenue.
Yes?
I want you to send an officer over here immediately to arrest the president of this bank.
What is that?
I want you to send someone over here to arrest the president of this bank.
Well, what's he done?
I'll explain that to the officer.
Well, I'll be right over myself.
All right. I'll wait for you here.
Yes, Captain.
Take the desk for a few minutes, Milton. I'm going over to the Third National Bank.
What's up?
Oh, some nut wants me to arrest Walter C. Morgan, the president. I'll call you.
Right, Captain. Window number 9, please. Cash a check.
Where's the president's office? Oh, that's it.
Where can I cash a check, please? Yes.
I'm Captain Young from headquarters.
There you are. Here. I want you to arrest this scoundrel. I want you to take him down and throw him in jail. That's what I want.
My dear Mr. Sampson, if you will just calm yourself.
Calm myself. Me? Why, you arrest him. Arrest him, I say. On my constitutional rights, I demand that you arrest this thief.
But, my dear sir, I've explained...
Just a minute. Let's get to the bottom of this trouble. You're Sampson of the Realty Syndicate?
Yes, and this man
Just a minute. I'll hear your story first, if you don't mind, Mr. Morgan.
I'd rather you heard Mr. Sampson's. I'll have to admit it's all very mystifying to me.
Very well.
You'll hear my side of it, all right. I'm representing one of the largest real estate firms in this city. I came in this bank just 1 week ago today and borrowed $200,000.
You borrowed how much?
$200,000.
What did you borrow the money for?
My company was bidding on a new tract of land. We wanted the cash to close the deal.
I see.
As collateral on the loan, I put up $250,000 worth of New York and Boston railroad bonds. The real estate deal fell through, and I brought my check for $200,000 plus the interest to date and asked for my bonds.
Yeah, well?
Well, I was met with a cock and bull story that they couldn't make a child believe.
What about this, Mr. Morgan?
What Mr. Sampson tells you is absolutely true. This bank loaned him $200,000 on the bonds. That was just a week ago today.
And what happened to the bonds?
I don't know.
You don't know? Have they been stolen?
Or misplaced. I've tried to tell Mr. Sampson that if he'll give us a few days...
Few days? Is your bank piling up interest on the loan? Not a chance. Look here, Morgan. You produce my bonds immediately, or I'll swear out a warrant for your arrest.
Now, wait a minute. I'll look into this thing, if you don't mind. Who handled the transaction?
Mr. Evans, the cashier.
Where?
In this office.
Did you see the bonds, Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
And were they New York and Boston Railroad?
Yes.
Well, what happened after you inspected and passed on the bonds?
I instructed Mr. Evans to draw a check for the amount and make the necessary arrangements with Mr. Sampson here.
And those arrangements were made?
Yes.
Then your cashier, Evans, was the last man to handle the bonds, huh?
That is correct.
And if the bonds were stolen...
But, Captain Young, we're not sure that they were stolen. You see, when we opened Mr. Sampson's envelope this morning, expecting to find the bonds, we found these instead.
And if you ask me, they tried to pass this worthless stuff off onto me, thinking that I'd not notice it.
What are these bonds, if I may ask?
They are an old issue of German municipal bonds. They're absolutely worthless.
And you found these in the envelope instead of the railroad bonds, eh?
Yes.
Well, where were these bonds kept during the past week?
In the vault. We have a special section for collateral.
And they weren't moved until you went to get them today?
As far as I know, they were not.
Who went for them today?
Evans, the cashier.
I see. Well, Mr. Morgan, how many people in this bank would have access to the collateral?
3. Mr. Evans, Mr. Turner, the vice president, and myself.
And one of you 3 crooks took my bonds.
Mr. Sampson, I'm going to ask that you let me finish what I started without interruption.
Well, all right. But I want something done.
Well, we'll do all we can. Now, Mr. Morgan, if you'll arrange for me to talk to the cashier, Evans, I'll see what we can do to find out... you're positive that you placed the bonds in this envelope, huh?
Yes, Mr. Morgan saw me do it.
Is that right, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I was watching him. There's absolutely no chance that an error was made.
And you took this envelope directly to the vault, Evans?
Yes.
And it's been in the vault ever since?
Yes. That is, until I went for it today.
Have you ever seen these German municipal bonds before?
No.
Well, it's beyond me. Morgan, you loaned Sampson $200,000 on some New York and Boston Railroad bonds. Those bonds were entrusted to you for safekeeping, and he's ready to pay back the loan, and you can't produce the bonds. Well, it looks to me as though you'll have to pay him the full price of the bonds. That is, if they're not found.
And, of course, the bank will do it. We're fully protected by insurance. Captain Young, you've made quite a reputation locally as a sleuth, and I'd appreciate it very much if you took a hand in this matter. Of course, the bank will call its own investigators, but I'd feel better about it personally if you took charge.
Even if the trail led to one of your officers or yourself?
Even then.
All right, Mr. Morgan, you're on. Now, first I want the serial numbers on all the missing bonds. And then I want to talk to each and every one of the people
Oh, here comes the captain now.
Oh, boys, I'm glad to see you're all here. I had to call you on such short notice that I was afraid I'd miss some of you. Now, here's what we're here for. Somebody pulled a fast one on the Third National, kidded an amount of $250,000 in railroad bonds, New York and Boston. Of course, the bank has called its private dick in on the job, and ordinarily I'd let them handle it. Except that I want to show these bank officials that we can turn the trick for them. Now, I have here mimeographed copies of the serial numbers on the missing bonds. Here's a description of the case and some other dope that you'll need. Downing.
Yes, sir?
You get on the phone. Cover every banking institution in the state. The bonds are probably on the move now. Find out if any of these bonds have passed through the brokers.
Yes, sir.
Turner.
Yes?
You're an old hand at this game. Get on the teletype. Wire every section in the country. If these bonds have been taken out of state, it's your job to handle it.
Right.
Milton.
Yes, sir.
You tail Morgan night and day, and for the love of Mike, don't let him know it.
Right.
Hiller, you and Tubby get after Evans, the cashier, and any cronies that he might run into. Make a complete report twice a day.
We got the Captain.
The rest of you boys circulate about and keep your eyes and ears open. Tend to your routine duty, but remember, this department is on the trail of $250,000 worth of hot bonds.
Detective Bureau, Captain Young's office. Oh, in just a minute, Ed. Downing's on the phone, Captain.
Hello? Oh, they did, huh? When? Yesterday. Well, we're getting hot. Keep after him.
What news, Cap?
Well, Downing found out that the firm of Overlock and Bailey sold a big bunch of the bonds yesterday for a client named Smith.
Smith?
Yeah, name's probably a phony. He was described to Downing as a dapper little guy with a gray mustache. Had a letter of reference from the Third National. I'll get it. Hello? Yeah? Okay, Milton. Yeah, Downey just called in with a similar report. Keep right after it. Well, Milton found out that the Harrison Company sold some of the missing bonds this morning for the same Smith. Get the commissioner for me.
Right, he said he'd be over to...
Just a minute. Hello? Yeah, Milton. Oh, now you're getting somewhere. I'll stick around and pinch him when he shows up. No, wait a minute. Don't pinch him. Get one of the boys over there right away, and when the suspect gets there, let him make the transaction and then tail him. Keep your eye on him every minute. I've got a hunch, and if it works out, a certain gentleman in this town is going to be very surprised.
Glad you got here, Captain. I'm waiting for him to come out.
Mm-hmm. Where is he?
In that office there.
Who is he?
I don't know, but it all checks. He's a little old man, about 5'4", gray mustache, and walks with a sort of a swing.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get the lead?
Well, I was covering the town like you told me. I asked about New York and Boston Railroad bonds at Adams & Sons, and they told me that they had a fella in to sell some to a client of theirs at 2 o'clock. So I hiked to the phone and called you.
Mm-hmm. And what then?
Well, I followed him like you said. As soon as I saw him, I knew that he fit the description of the guy who'd been passing him at the other places. So I kept right on his track till he stopped here, and then I called you again, and you came right over.
How long has he been in that office?
About 20 minutes or so.
Whose office is it?
I don't know. Name's around the corner, I think.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's on this door over here.
Say what, Cap?
We're going into that office. All right, come on. Right behind me and keep your eyes open. All right. Lift them up. That's it. Up high. All right. See what's in that little guy's hand, Milton.
Some of the bonds, Captain.
Just as I thought. And on the desk is the marked money that was slipped them at Adams & Sons, where they just sold some of the bonds.
Hey, listen,
time for you to listen, Sampson.
Oh, yeah? Well, you've got nothing on me. I'll tell you...
Are you going to shut up, or do I shut you up?
What's the score, Captain?
Milton, we just caught a couple of slickers. Sampson here has thought the plan all out. He was the smart guy, but he got too bold. He should have held the bonds for a couple of years.
I don't get you, Captain. Isn't this the...
Yeah. Sampson is the man who owned the bonds originally. He saw a way to make $200,000 on them by pulling a fast one in the bank. He borrowed the money on the bonds and then saw to it that they disappeared out of the vault so he could force the Third National to pay him face value for the bonds.
But how did he get them out of the bank?
Easy. You see that little short guy standing there in front of you? Well, he did it. Sampson hired him to steal the bonds out of the bank and pass them for him.
You mean this little guy is a bank robber?
Oh, no, not at all. Jerk that phony mustache off of his upper lip. There, that's it. See? He's not a bank robber, he's a bank cashier. You're under arrest, Evans. Police headquarters. Set second, please.
Homicide Bureau. Sergeant O'Brien.
This is James Morris speaking from Edward Cunningham's residence in Oak Knoll.
Yes?
Mr. Cunningham has just been found dead in his bedroom. I've called his doctor, and he suggested that I notify the police.
You did the right thing. What's the address out there?
1837 Oak Knoll.
1837 Oak Knoll. We'll have a man right out.
Yes?
Where's Captain Reynolds?
Out on the call.
Ryan back yet?
No, sir.
All right, send a man in to hold the desk down. I'm going out on a suicide.
Come right in. I'm James Morris, the man who called you.
Oh, I'm Sergeant O'Brien.
I suppose you want to go right upstairs.
Yes. I haven't met this gentleman.
This is Mr. Collins, a banker.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do, Sergeant? It's a shame this had to happen. We've all been...
Who's the lady in the next room?
Jane Wilson, Mr. Cunningham's niece. She's rather hard hit by what's happened. You see, she was very fond of her uncle. She's been practically a father to her, and...
Did your doctor arrive?
Yes, he's upstairs now.
Did he pronounce Mr. Cunningham dead?
Yes, sir.
Which one of you discovered the body?
I did, Sergeant.
Where were you at the time?
Sitting down here smoking a cigar. I was startled with a shot and went upstairs to investigate.
Where were you, Morris?
At the drugstore on the corner. Mr. Cunningham had just sent me on an errand. You see, I'm Mr. Cunningham's secretary.
And where was Miss Wilson?
Upstairs in her room. We both met in the hallway outside Mr. Cunningham's room.
Had she heard the shot?
Yes, and she was investigating it the same as I was. I went to the door to Cunningham's room and knocked. There was no answer, so I opened the door and went in. I suppose Miss Wilson and I both saw him at the same time.
I see. Well, we'll run upstairs and see the body. If you'll accompany me, Morris. And, Miss Collins, you'd be so kind as to step into the next room and ask Miss Wilson not to leave until I have a chance to talk to her.
Very well.
Lead the way, Morris.
Right up these stairs. Oh, I can't say why he did it. He had everything he wanted. He's never spent a depressed moment as far as I know.
Men do funny things at times.
Right over here. But Mr. Cunningham is the last person on earth you'd expect to commit suicide.
Why do you say that?
Because he got so much fun out of living. Edward Cunningham was a born gambler. Not a professional, mind you, but he loved his cards. That's why Mr. Collins is here tonight. They had a game scheduled.
Just the two of them?
No, there was another gentleman, a man named Brady. He often played with Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Collins.
I see. And, Brady hasn't shown up yet?
No. He called at 6 o'clock telling Mr. Cunningham that he would be unable to come this evening. Mr. Cunningham seemed greatly disappointed. Here we are. This is Dr. Wood, Sergeant O'Brien from headquarters, Doctor.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do? What's the news, Doctor?
It looks like an out-and-out case of suicide, Sergeant. The body was found just as it is. You'll notice the wound and powder marks on the forehead.
Yes.
A gun is just beyond his hand where it must have fallen.
How long has he been dead?
Only a very few minutes.
He left no note?
I didn't see one.
Did you, Morris?
Why, no.
Well, it's customary, isn't it, for a suicide to leave a note or something?
I'm sure that you're in a better position to answer that than I am.
You say that Mr. Cunningham had sent you to the drugstore for something, and that you weren't in the house at the time the shot was fired.
That's right.
What had Mr. Cunningham sent you after?
A box of cigars.
Oh, I see.
Well, I've done all I can. You've sent for the coroner.
No, not yet. I'll do it as soon as I've had time to look around.
Very well. Well, I'll be leaving if I'm no longer needed.
Just one question, Doctor. Is the body lying in a natural position for a suicide?
Yes, I'd say it is.
And there's the usual amount of powder grains about the wound?
Well, there's one thing that doesn't quite come up to standard. There aren't as many powder grains as I've seen in other cases, but of course it's a rather small gun, but even then there should be a few more powder marks.
Just what I was thinking. Well, thank you, Doctor.
You're entirely welcome. How's Miss Jane, Morris?
Better. She's a brave girl. She'll pull through all right. However, you might see her as you leave. She's in the study.
Yes, I shall. Well, good day.
Do you know of any reason for Cunningham to kill himself?
No, I don't.
His business affairs are in good shape?
Yes, sir. He was a very wealthy man. He had no worries.
Will Miss Wilson profit by this?
She'll inherit his money, I believe. However, she really doesn't need it. She has $1 million or so of her own.
I see. Were Cunningham and Collins on friendly terms?
Oh, yes, sir. They've been friends for years.
And this Mr. Brady, who was scheduled to appear tonight and didn't?
I can't say about him.
Was Mr. Cunningham in this room when he sent you for the cigars?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Will you step down and tell Mr. Collins that I'd like to see him?
Certainly, sir.
Mr. Collins, you've known him for 20 years and have never known of him to be in any trouble of any sort?
That's right. Why, there's no one who'd want to kill Cunningham. He was always kind and thoughtful.
You were here tonight for a poker game, I believe, Mr. Collins.
Yes, we make it a custom to play twice a week.
The stakes run pretty high?
Fairly so. We make it interesting.
Mm-hmm. How much are the normal losses during an evening?
Oh, I should say 10 or 15,000.
Oh, you do make it interesting.
Well, that's all a matter of viewpoint.
What do you know about this fellow Brady who found it inconvenient to show up tonight?
Very little. He was introduced to me at the Clover Club and is a gambler from the word go. I think Cunningham enjoyed playing with him.
Was Brady a winner?
On the contrary, he was a heavy loser. The night before last at my club, Cunningham was forced to take his IOUs for $25,000.
Nice profit for one night. Well, I'd better forget about poker and get busy with my report. Send Miss Wilson up, will you?
Surely.
Oh, come in, Miss Wilson. I'm Sergeant O'Brien.
Yes, I know.
I'm sorry to have to ask you questions at a time like this, but it'll be best to get everything cleared up.
I understand.
Do you know any reason for your uncle committing suicide?
Not a single reason. Uncle Edward was a happy-go-lucky person. Not the type to commit suicide.
Where were you when you heard the shot?
In my room.
Where is that?
At the end of the hall.
Well, what did you do after you heard the shot?
I ran out into the hall, just in time to see Mr. Collins coming up the steps. We both went to Uncle's room and saw him dead.
And, where was Mr. Morris, his secretary?
Out on an errand, I believe. He came in about 5 minutes later.
I see. Miss Wilson, do you know Mr. Brady?
I've met the man.
You don't seem to approve of your uncle's choice of card associates.
The man is nothing more than a professional gambler. I have no use for him. Uncle showed me where he signed gambling debts amounting to $25,000.
Did you see the IOUs?
Yes.
Where did your uncle keep them?
In this drawer here. Why, that's odd. They're gone.
Gone?
Yes. I saw Uncle put them there this afternoon.
Well, perhaps Brady came by and paid them.
Well, I can soon tell you, just as soon as I open this safe.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll look through his wallet here.
Why, there's only $100 in the safe.
Yes, and less than that in the wallet. I think we can safely assume that the IOUs were not paid. Do you recognize this gun?
Yes. It's a Camp Perry Model 22. Uncle Edward used it for target practice.
I see. You know your firearms. Did he ever attach a silencer to it?
Not that I know of. No, I'm sure he didn't. I went to the ranch with him the few times he used it.
I see. Can you tell me, Miss Wilson, what scattered the ashes in the fireplace here?
No, I can't. Look here, Mr. Sergeant. If you feel that my uncle's death is a suicide, why do you keep poking around and asking so many questions?
To answer that, my dear young lady, would be to give away a very ingenious plot. Oh, how do you do, Miss Wilson?
Why did you send your driver for me?
I thought you might like to be in on the final episode of our drama.
What do you mean?
I thought you might be interested in the outcome of my investigation.
You mean that Uncle Edward's death was not
a suicide. Your uncle, Miss Wilson, was the victim of a very cold-blooded, deliberate murder. I was fairly sure of it the first day there in your house. Since then, I've learned things that have led me to the murderer.
But who could possibly...
I've had my men trailing him for days, and I find there were 2 in on the scheme. They're in that room talking things over. If you like, we'll go in and give them a little surprise visit. Step over here with me.
I can't believe it.
Are you ready for a surprise?
Yes.
All right. Oh, good evening, Mr. Morris. Don't bother getting up. Keep your seat. I believe your friend is Mr. Brady.
Why, what do you mean, breaking into my apartment this way?
I'm here on an errand, Morris. Like the one you ran for Cunningham the night he was killed. Only my errand will be completed. Morris, I arrest you and Brady for the murder of Edward Cunningham. No, you don't. Don't one of you move. We've an airtight case. You're both headed for a hangman's noose.
Do you mean that Morris, my uncle's secretary, was implicated in this dreadful affair?
I certainly do. However, he was just a pawn for Brady. Brady lost $25,000 to your uncle in a poker game. He had to get those IOUs back, so he concocted a scheme with Morris to get the IOUs and to rob your uncle's safe at the same time.
But Morris was at the drugstore. I don't see...
How the murder was accomplished?
Yes.
You remember that I asked if your uncle had ever used a silencer on the gun.
Yes?
I found the marks of a silencer on the barrel. Morris killed him with a silencer, then removed it, wiped the gun clean, put your uncle's prints on it, and left.
But what about the shot?
Scattered ashes explained that. In leaving, Morris tossed a blank cartridge into the glowing coals. In time, it exploded, giving him time to get downstairs and establish an alibi. Oh, here's the sergeant for his prisoners.
Police headquarters. I think he's here. Just a minute.
Detective Bureau, Captain Trent. Just a minute. It's your paper, Porter. Are you here?
Sure, I'm here. Tell that big stiff on the city desk that I'm on a big case. Tell him that...
You'd better talk to him.
Give me the phone. Hello. Sure, I'm on the job. Hey, don't you ever get tired of checking up? Sure, I'm after it, but a lot of good it'll do me. Trent don't know any more about it than you do. Okay. Yeah, you see how it is? The old man's riding me to death on the thing.
I've told you all we know, Porter. If Judge Carlton hasn't been kidnapped, he's in hiding.
Yeah, but where? Don't you realize that it's the biggest case of the year? And here you guys are sitting around waiting for him to come in and say, hello, boys, I've been out on a picnic.
Well, we're doing everything we can. You and that photographer you got with you aren't helping any by hounding us on the
Well,
case.
what about it? I'm getting hounded, ain't I? Listen, Captain, you gotta find Judge Carlton. The 2 million readers of the Gazette demand it.
Yeah? Since when did 2 million people start wasting their time? You better wake up that dummy of a cameraman over there in the chair and get out and fill your space. We've got work to do in here.
Yeah, well,
What's that? 3-alarm fire somewhere. They're calling the reserve officers on the traffic squad.
just my speed. Hey, Wimpy, wake up. Wake up. Give me that telephone book a minute, Cap. Hey, wake up, will you?
What's up? Oh, it's you. Can't you ever let a guy rest in peace?
Come on. Snap out of it, Boop. There's work to be done. Hey, where is that fire, Cap?
Why ask me? There's the telephone.
Hello. Hey, where's the fire? Where? Oh, thanks. Come on, Tip. This tenement down on Spring.
Yeah.
Come on, and don't get yourself all tangled up in that camera there. Come on, don't waste any more plates on this bonfire.
Hey, who's shooting the fire? I gotta take one more, I tell you. Some of these may be no good.
It's getting too hot here, you dizzy bum. You want me to hold this plate case, you'll have to shoot the next one by telephoto.
Let's see if we can get up on that building over there, up away from this crowd, and get sort of a bird's eye view of the whole thing. They say there's a man caught in there. If there is, this picture will make the front page, and the city Ed will howl his head off if we don't get a good one.
All right, you dumb fuck. How are we going to get up there?
By this alley over here. And stop calling me names.
All right. Where now, Dopey?
There ought to be a fire escape in the back of this alley that'll take us up to the roof.
All right, come on.
I'm coming.
Be careful of that camera. Why don't you look where you're going, dummy? It's not as dark as all that.
I stumbled on some... Hey, Ed.
What?
Look.
Holy smoke.
That guy laying here in the alley. I tripped over.
Hey, quick. Swing a light on him. Booze. Some drunk, maybe, huh?
Here's a flashlight. Why,
Chubby Meadows.
yeah, must have been hitting the bottle pretty heavy to get this drunk.
He's not drunk. Look.
Blood.
Yeah. Quick. You run down to the corner and get a cop. Then get to the nearest phone and call Captain Trent. I'll stay here. Poor guy. There'll be plenty of cane raised over this.
Who is it?
Chubby Meadows of the Star.
Is he dead?
Yeah, 2 slugs in his heart. Looks like he's been shot from behind. I got a friend of mine calling Captain Trent. You better stay here and lay your eyes, huh?
Meadows. Is he the guy who takes all those action pictures for the Star?
Yeah, one of the best lads in the business. Inclined to drink a bit, but he's ace high among the newspaper photographers. Oh, here comes Wimpy. Did you get Trent?
Hey, yeah. Said he'd be right over. Whew, I had to run 2 blocks for a phone. The captain should be here pretty quick. What'd you find?
He's been shot in the back. Looks like he was on an assignment. Maybe he was down here, photographed the fire. Here's Chubby's camera and photo case, too.
Yeah. Gee, that's too bad. He was a swell guy. It'll be tough on his wife, too.
Wife? I didn't know he was married.
Yeah, been married more than a year. Got a wife and a kid. It'll be hard on them.
I'd like to have a hold of the dirty rat that pulled this.
Yeah, bet his paper will blow the lid off on this thing.
I bet we all will. Yeah, that must be Captain Trent. Yeah, that's his car, all right. Hey, you better get Chubby's camera and plate case out of the way here.
What's going on, Porter?
Chubby Meadows. Somebody plugged him in the back.
No.
What did I say? Here, take a look for yourself.
What was he doing here?
Looks like he was taking pictures of the fire. That's his business.
I mean, what was he doing here in this alley?
Well, Wimpy here had a goofy idea of going up on the top of this building across from the fire and making a few shots. Chubby probably had the same idea.
Mike. Get a couple of cars and throw lights on this alley from both ends. Go over the place with a fine-tooth comb and see what you find.
Looks like a cold-blooded, deliberate murder, if you ask me.
Did Chubby have any enemies?
Well, you know as much about it as I do. Chubby Meadows wasn't the kind of a newspaper man who made enemies, though.
He sure run into something. What assignment was he working on?
How should I know? I work for the Gazette. It's your job to find the guy who shot him. Take a flash of this, Wimpy, and then bait it. The old man will probably put an extra out as soon as I phone in my story.
Then where you going?
Into headquarters with Trent. I want to follow this thing through. Develop those fire pictures as soon as you get a chance. Murphy will probably want to use them as a filler in the next edition.
Okay.
Hey, you big dummy, don't forget your plate case.
Huh? Oh, no.
Thanks.
Well, what'd you find out, Captain?
I talked to the city editor of the Star. He says that Chubby Meadows wasn't on any particular assignment tonight.
Well, did you ask him about any previous assignments?
Yes. The editor told me that Chubby had been following up some leads on Judge Carlson's disappearance, but nothing came of them.
Judge Carlton, eh?
Yeah. I sent a couple of men down to the paper to quiz all of Meadows' friends and associates. We may get something out of them.
Yeah. Judge Carlton, eh? Hey, did they identify the body they found in the fire tonight?
There wasn't anything left to identify but some teeth and a set of keys. They're checking up on the keys now. Come in.
Say, is that good-for-nothing Porter in here?
What?
Oh, there you are. What do you mean sending Wimpy in with a picture like this and not giving me a line on it?
What do you mean? I called the whole story in before I left the scene. I sent Wimpy in with the pictures.
Yeah, we got the pictures, but not a line on Judge Carlton.
Judge Carlton? Who said anything about Judge Carlton?
Who said? Say, are you plain nutty?
No, but I think you are. I phoned in the whole story of finding Chubby Meadows in the alley before I came down here with Captain Trent.
Who said anything about Chubby Meadows? We got that story. It's been on the streets for an hour. What I want is a follow-up on that picture you took of Judge Carlton.
Say, are you... what picture?
What picture? Do you mean to say that you didn't take this? Here, take a look at this picture.
Well, for the love... Hey, Captain, take a look at this.
Judge Carlson.
Yeah, and that big lug walking with him is Steve Yeager.
Where did you get that picture, Porter?
I didn't take it. Wimpy must have taken it.
Wimpy says he didn't take it. He says you must have taken it while he was running for the telephone.
Well, he's crazy as usual. Say.
Well?
Chubby Meadows took that picture.
What do you mean?
Chubby Meadows took that picture, and that's why he was killed. Wimpy picked up the wrong plate case when he left. He developed Chubby's pictures.
Well, then you didn't take it.
No.
Detective Bureau, Captain Trent. What? Quiet. Oh. Okay.
Now what?
They just identified the body in the ruins as Judge Carlson.
They what?
They identified the keys and the ring as belonging to Judge Carlson.
There's something wrong there. We got a picture of Judge Carlson and Steve Yeager walking together.
I wonder where Meadows took this picture.
Looks like the alley where we found him. Now I know what happened. Judge Carlson is in on this. So Steve Yeager. Yeager is the one who probably turned the heat on Chubby.
Why?
Well, you remember the indictment against Yeager, don't you? Carlson turned it down. I've noticed lately that he's been letting Yeager's hoodlums go free. When the grand jury threatened an investigation, Judge Carlson disappeared. Then there's a fire, and he tries to make it appear as if he's been caught in the fire.
And Chubby Meadows saw them walking and took a flashlight of them and tried to get away and was killed.
Exactly.
Hello. Just a minute. It's for you, Porter. It's that dumb cameraman of yours.
Hello. Say, listen, you big... What's that? When? Oh, you did, huh? Good boy. What's the address? Get this, Captain. 621 Clinton, eh? Good. Now, look, you stick outside and we'll be right down.
621 Clinton. What's up?
Wimpy just called to say that 3 lugs grabbed him coming out of a restaurant and took his camera and plate case away from him.
That settles it. That's the reason Chubby Meadows was killed. They thought Wimpy had this picture.
Yeah, but you haven't heard the best of it. Wimpy grabbed a taxi and followed the 3 mugs. He called from across the street from where they're staying. He's not so dumb, huh?
Good. Yes, sir. Get a car and 3 men in front right away.
Right.
Come on, we'll corner those rats.
Wimpy said he'd meet us at the corner. I don't see... look!
It's that dumb photographer.
He's been hurt. Quick!
He's been hit on the head.
How are you, kid?
Okay, I guess. They were heading for the airport. I tried to bluff them out of it, but they socked me on the head.
The airport? Here, we'll give you a hand. Get the car, Porter. Those rats are trying to get across the border.
There's their car. That black sedan.
Come on, boys.
Hey, look out. They're behind the car.
Get down here, you dummy.
What? And this a chance to shoot a battle like this? Whee, what a picture.
Captain Trent closed in on them. Steve Yeager sure got his share of the lead.
Yeah. Hey, look. Boy, will that make a picture. What a scoop. A picture of Judge Carlton committing suicide.
Police headquarters calling detectives car 46, car 46. Captain Frazier, call your station. That's all.
Pull in at the box here, Andy.
Right, Captain. Wonder what they want.
Don't know, but we'll find out. This is Captain Frazier. All right, we're at 6th and Slauson now. We'll run right over. Call for Doc Brady and an ambulance.
What's up, Captain?
Don't know yet. They just discovered a body in a vacant lot over near the river on 16th Street. Step on it.
Okay.
Captain.
Hello, Evan. I see you boys are keeping yourselves busy.
Yeah, we found a case for you. Thought you'd better not move anything until we got here.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Well, throw your light on him, Andy.
Right.
I know this guy. When we were kids, we used to live next door to each other. I busted his nose once for cheating at marbles, but he was a nice kid. Named Spencer. Ace Spencer.
Gambler, huh?
Yeah, he'd bet on anything. I used to tell him, Ace, we're going to pick you up dead sometime. It'll either be by your own hand because you're broke or because you've cut corners on some guy. And, well, who found him?
I did. I was walking along the river road about 4 blocks from here when I heard a shot. I figured it was up this way. I guess it was about 10 minutes before I found him. I saw he was shot in the chest, so I beat it to an all-night restaurant on the corner and called for you.
I'm glad you did. Of course, the world won't miss Ace Spencer much, but he was a swell guy.
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
Nothing, Captain. I'm just agreeing with you.
Did you see or hear a car around after the shot?
No, sir.
His shirt and chest are powder burned. Looks like he let himself have it and pitched forward.
Here's the rod, Captain. 32 automatic. Loaded for 1. And here's the ejected shell.
Did you go through his pockets?
First thing. Had $5.60 in his pants. Not a dime in his wallet. There's a package of matches with the name Carrington Hotel stamped on them.
$5, eh?
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, he was carrying 10 grand or so. He must have taken an awful beating.
Yeah.
Will you go back on your beat, Evans?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to get rid of that guy. He's standing around saying, yeah, gives me the willies.
Yeah.
Let me see that gun. His gun, all right. He wanted to get a license to carry it the last time I talked to him. I told him nothing doing. He laughed and said he wouldn't need it. Said the only one he'd ever use it on would be himself.
You think he'd done the job himself, Captain?
Well, Bill's all the earmarks of a homemade job. We might check up on the Carrington Hotel. It's a pretty ritzy place for a guy with only $5 to be staying, but, well, come on. I'm Captain Fraser from Police Headquarters. Do you have a man registered here by the name of Spencer? William Spencer.
Just a minute.
Say, that guy didn't live here the way he was dressed. He must have picked those matches up.
Well, it's the only thing we have to go on.
There doesn't seem to be anyone registered here by the name of Spencer.
Let me see your register a minute.
Certainly.
What are you looking for, Cap?
Oh, I don't know. Just familiar names. Oh, here's one. W.F. Collins. That's Bull Collins, another gambler, and here's Flash Douglas. Seems to be a hangout of gamblers.
Yeah, but Ace Spencer ain't in their class.
Oh, he isn't, eh? Listen, those guys couldn't hold a candle to Ace Spencer in his prime. Come on.
Where now?
Just a matter of routine. We're going to make the rounds of the cheaper hotels. I've got a hunch that Ace had a room at one of them.
You going to keep this up, Captain? Do you know we haven't stopped for lunch?
Well, we'll try this one and then call it a day. Hey, you.
Yeah?
Do you have a William Spencer living here?
Yeah, room 9, but he ain't in.
We know he isn't. He's on a slab in the county morgue. Give me the key to his room.
I ain't surprised none. He's been acting funny ever since the boss told him he'd have to pay his rent or get out.
Was he much behind?
Oh, about 2 months. You know, I couldn't savvy that guy. Never had a dime, and yet he was wearing a diamond sparkler on his finger that knocked you dead.
Yeah, I remember seeing it the last time I saw him alive. He always wore it for sentimental reasons. Bought it for a girl who died. Said no matter how tough he found the sledding, he'd never pawn it.
Well, he either pawned it or had it lifted tonight.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he wasn't wearing it when we found him.
Maybe it's in his room. We'll look. Come on, Andy, down this hall.
Well, it's not here.
And here's the reason. A pawn ticket for a diamond ring dated yesterday.
Where'd you find that?
In his suitcase here. So Ace finally decided to pawn that ring, eh? You know, Andy, he must have had a reason for doing it.
Why? What was the ring worth?
Not a cent less than 10 grand.
And he was walking around penniless with a sparkler like that?
He wouldn't have parted with it for $1 million, unless he had a certain use for the money. He was a swell guy. Sentimental, too.
What are you getting at, Captain?
There's something there, Andy. I'm not saying that Ace Spencer didn't kill himself, but I'm saying that he must have had a reason for pawning that ring, and I'm going to find out what happened to the money.
want something to eat. First we go to the pawn shop, then we go down to talk to that stool pigeon, then we come back here to Carrington Hotel. Who are you going to see down here?
Keep your shirt on, Andy. If Ace bumped himself off, he must have had a reason. I'm going to find out what that reason was. We're looking for room 681.
What did that stoolie mean when he said Ace was framed in a poker game?
He was talking about last summer. Ace Spencer dropped $23,000 in one game. There was talk that he was framed. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Maybe if he was framed last summer, he was framed again tonight. That's why he bumped himself off. Sol Levison said he gave him $10,000 on the ring. Ace told him he'd get it back tomorrow. Now, here we are.
Who lives here?
Bull Collins. I got a hunch that maybe Ace came up here tonight for a game. Bull Collins is supposed to be the guy who broke him last summer.
Maybe he's out.
Oh, Bull. Remember me?
Well, come in, Captain. You're just in time for a little drink.
No, thanks.
Cigar?
You can skip the rope, too. Who's your friend?
Oh, don't you know Flash? This is Flash Douglas, Captain Fraser.
How do you do?
What can I do for you, Captain?
Ace Spencer bumped himself off tonight.
No.
Yes. He did it because he lost heavily in a poker game earlier in the evening. We found a package of matches from this hotel, and I found your name on the register downstairs. Putting two and two together, I figured that maybe Ace was in a game with you and Douglas.
It is a swell job of figuring, Captain. Ace was up here tonight. Lost $10,000. Said he was clean, but I doubt it.
He was giving it to you straight. We found him with only $5 on him.
No. What, if I'd have known that,
What time did Ace show up?
4:30 this afternoon.
Whose cards did you use?
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean. Was the game on the level, Bull?
You know it was. My games are always on the level. Anyway, Ace had me sent down to the cigar stand for 2 fresh decks.
Oh, he did he? Well, it was his funeral. Come on, Andy. We won't be bothering these gentlemen any longer.
So long.
Can we stop in the coffee shop for a bite to eat, Captain?
Pretty soon, Andy. We have some important business over here at the cigar stand. Hey, buddy.
Yes? What can I do for you?
Plenty. We're officers. You were working at 4:30 yesterday afternoon, weren't you?
Why, yes.
Do you remember sending some cards up to room 681?
Yes.
What are you getting so flustered about? I merely asked if you remembered sending them up.
Yes, I sent them up. 2 decks.
I see. Where'd you get them?
Out of the showcase here. Why?
Are you sure you got them out of the showcase?
Why, sure.
How many decks you got left?
I don't know.
Count them.
Yes, sir.
Up here in plain sight. That's it. Bring them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's your name, son?
Bailey. Fred Bailey.
Been working here long?
No, sir.
Well, how is it that the day clerk inventories the playing cards before you came on at 10 decks, and you sent 2 decks to room 681, and you still got 10 decks in the showcase? What kind of arithmetic is that?
Why, I don't know.
Listen, Bailey, you didn't know it at the time, but you got yourself mixed up in a pretty ticklish matter. And I'd advise you to come clean with us. You sent 2 packages of cards to 681 that didn't come from your stock, didn't you? Didn't you?
Well, yes, I sent him up. He said he'd give me $100, and I didn't know. Honest, I didn't.
Well, that's all we want to know. You stay here and take this fellow's statement, Andy. I'm going back upstairs. I don't know that there's anything I can do about it, but we'll see.
Well, we didn't expect you back, Captain. Come back for the drink?
No.
Well, sit down. Let's have a little talk.
You can skip that, too. In fact, you can skip all the baloney.
What do you mean?
I mean that it'll be a long time before you do any more gambling in this town, Bull. In fact, I'm going to see what the chances are of getting you tossed in the can.
Are you crazy?
No, are you? Look here, Bull. It was Ace Spencer's own funeral when he came in here. I'm not crabbing about that. I know he had it coming to him someday. That's all okay. But I can't understand why a big shot like you would deliberately take Ace with a couple of stacked decks when you knew he was down and out and trying to make a comeback. You knew that you'd drive him to suicide. Maybe I've been wrong all my life about giving a guy a break when he's down, but I'll get that. You stay where you are. Hello? Yeah, this is me, Andy. You been talking to who? Oh, the cigar clerk. What? What? He said that Ace... Hey.
Oh!
Hey, you will pull a gun on me, will you?
You broke my arm.
Hello, Andy. Come on up right away. This tin horn tried to pull a rod on me. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, that's one on me. I was working this thing out just backwards. It was Ace Spencer who bribed the cigar clerk to send those fixed cards to your room. But it was you, Bull, who found it out. And after Ace had taken every cent you had, you followed him to that vacant lot and killed him with his own gun.
Am I, Fraser?
You shouldn't have done that, Bull. Ace was a swell guy.
Headquarters. This is Sergeant Flynn's day off. I imagine you can find him at the racetrack with Sergeant O'Shea. You're welcome.
Oh, that's another drink you owe me, Sarge. That nag you picked didn't even make the back stretch.
And that flea-bitten skate you picked wouldn't bring 2 bits to the glue factory.
Well, he won the race, didn't he? Come on, pay up, Sarge.
Okay, wait till we get to Eddie's. I want to see the big race.
The handicap isn't on until the 7th. We'll have time to go to Eddie's and get back by then.
Okay, Mike, lead the way. But if we miss the big race, there'll be one son of Ireland who'll show up to police duty tomorrow with a bump on his head.
And if I do, it'll be because I walked into that door, you big leather-necked Mick. Come on. Is that guy over there trying to attract your attention?
Where? Oh, that's Johnny Stone. Owns the Whitehead stable.
Well, whoever he is, he's busting his neck trying to get through the crowd to see you.
Well, he's a pretty nice guy, Mike. Let's see what he wants.
He's probably got a tip for you.
Well, if he has, it's a square one. Johnny Stone is a square shooter. Hello, Johnny. What's on your mind?
Where can I talk to you for a minute, Sergeant?
I don't know, Johnny. Anything important?
It's about the big race. I'd like to see you right away.
Oh, all right. Supposing we beat it over to your stable, Johnny. Oh, this is Sergeant O'Shea.
Glad to know you. Let's duck through here, Sergeant.
Lead the way. What's on your mind?
I'd rather not talk until we get out of this crowd.
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, something has me worried, Flynn. Worried to death, and I don't know what to do.
Something concerning the track?
Yeah. Here, I think the door's unlocked. Yeah. Come in, Sergeant O'Shea.
Thanks.
All right, Johnny. What's got you up in the air? Spill it.
Wait until I pull down the shade.
You act like somebody was out gunning for you.
They are. Or that is, they will be if High Flight wins the handicap.
What do you mean?
I'm in a jam, Flynn. A bad one. My horse is set to go. She looks like a winner to me, and then these torpedo men come in with instructions that she's not to win.
Who?
Rick Randall and Tony Madero.
Oh, so you've got those two hot shots on your trail, huh?
Yes, and they mean business, Sergeant. I know them. They wouldn't hesitate to kill me if I crossed them up.
Hooey. Remember, Johnny, every big shot has a streak of yellow down his back when you talk back to him.
Yeah, but you don't know these two fellas. They wouldn't do the jobs themselves. They'd hire someone from out of town to do it.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
I don't know. I've always run a square stable, and I don't like the idea of telling the jock to pull the horse. And then another thing. My horse is set to go. I bet every penny I could scrape up on this race, and I want to see my colors come through.
Oh, then why don't you tell Randall and Madero to go lay an egg?
Because I'm afraid to, I guess.
Now, listen, Johnny. Don't let those guys bluff you. They'll crawl back into their shell if you tell them where to head in. Go on. You think your horse is set to deliver? Have the kid ride her for all she's worth. I'll back you up.
Will you, Flynn? Just until the race is over, then I'll hire someone to look after me.
Sure we will. Won't we, Mike?
Sure thing.
I hate to come crawling this way, but I've got a wife and two fine kids. What I stand to win or lose wouldn't be worth the pain they'd suffer if anything happened to me.
Nothing will happen to you, Johnny. We'll see to that. How about the jockey? Think they got to him?
I don't think so. I think he'd tell me right away. Anyway, he wouldn't dare pull her. I know that horse like a book. She's set for a win today, and nothing can stop her.
Good boy. You stay here with him, Mike, and I'll saunter over and place a few bucks of Mrs. Flynn's grocery money on High Flight to win.
Sure, and here's a 5-spot for me. I guess
Who is it?
I don't know.
Open the door, Mike, and I'll slip back behind this curtain.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, who was you expecting, sweetheart? Come on in, Tony.
Well, what do you want, Randall?
You know what we want. How's your horse going to finish in the 7th?
Up in front.
Yeah, and you know how you'll finish. Up in front of a funeral procession. Listen, Stone, if you...
You listen to me, you cheap tin horn gambler. That horse wins, and you're not going to stop him, savvy?
Oh, so you called in the bulls, did you, Johnny?
No, he didn't call in the bulls. We happen to be friends of Johnny's, and we're not going to see him bluffed out of this race by a couple of yellow-backed racketeers. Frisk him, Mike.
Say, listen, take your hands, sir. You can't do this.
Oh, I can, huh? Just turn around and face the wall before I take a pop at you. There. Now, frisk him, Mike, and if you find a gap on either one of them, we'll call the wagon.
No gun, Sarge.
You're not getting away with this, you dumb cop.
Oh, no? Now, listen, Sap. If you're smart, you'll clear out of here as fast as you came in. Both of you. We're staying with Johnny until after the race. And if anything happens to Johnny or the horse, we'll look you up. Now, get.
Boy, did you hand that guy a mouthful.
That's what he needed. Too bad I couldn't clap him in the jug. If I'd arrested him, he'd beat the rap.
Oh. Hey, Sarge, that's a big race. They're calling to the post. Come on.
Let's go out this way. I've got a box right close to the track.
Now, you go with him, Mike. I've got to beat to the deadline on the mutuals if we put up any simoleons on the High Flight. I'll meet you at the box.
Well, he ought to be back by now. Oh, here he is. What luck, Sarge? Did you place a bet?
Did I? 6.5 to 1. Your horse better win, Johnny.
If she don't, I'll be as surprised as you are, Flynn. And it won't be because she was pulled. I sent word to Freddie to boot her home.
Oh, Freddie Tate riding the nag?
Yes.
Oh, we're a cinch to win. And those two mugs thought they could bluff you out of a race that's rightfully yours. I just saw him back in a box looking like somebody stepped on him.
Ah, they're lowering the tape.
What position's High Flight running in?
3. She looks like a cinch.
Oh, boy, look at him go. Where's your nag, Johnny? Quick! Come on, High Flight!
Hey, look, they're punching at the turn. Come on, High Flight!
Jockey's got her all wrapped up. He won't start letting her out until the backstretch.
He's letting out a rap now. High Flight is moving into 5th place. Look at that jockey ride, will you?
Better ride, or there'll be no groceries for the Flynns next week.
She's hitting his stride now. She'll be pulling up.
Oh, say, she's looking at you, Mike.
Yeah, she's moved up to 3rd.
Around in the turn and heading for the stretch. Come on, High Flight. Come on, High Flight.
Yeah, she's all on rap now. Come on, gal. Come on.
Come on, High Flight.
Come on, old gal. Boot her, Freddie. That's the time.
Second place. It's in the back, Mike.
Come on, gal. Come on, High Flight. She's neck and neck. She's pulling it. Hey, what's going on down there? What's the matter with that jockey?
He's hurt.
It's Freddie.
He's off. Come on, Mike. Over the trail.
Yeah.
There's something fishy down there. That jockey didn't just fall off that horse.
did the doctor report, Sarge?
And the jockey was shot through the head with a steel-jacketed bullet.
That's just what I thought.
Where's Johnny Stone?
I left him at home. Put a couple of men watching the place.
Good idea. They might have some crazy idea of trying to get Johnny.
I told Williams and Ryan to cover the house every minute. What do you want me down here for?
To give me a hand. I've sent two of the boys out to bring Randall and Madero into the station.
You think they did it?
And I think they had it done.
Yeah, but they were away.
If either one of them had taken aim at the track with a rifle, there'd been 100 people saw them.
Yeah. Well, how was it done? The fellow who shot him had to be fairly close to the track for accuracy. Somebody would have seen him.
Yeah, that's just what's causing me all the worry. How could some yegg kill a jockey in front of 20,000 people and yet nobody see him do it?
Looks like one with a book.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can pound something out of Randall and Madero. I got a hunch, though, that those two birds will yell their heads off for a lawyer and shut up tighter than a clam. Yeah?
Listen, Jacobs are here with your men, sir.
Send them right in.
Right.
Randall and Madero are outside. I'm not going to waste any time with them. I'm coming straight to the point. You stick around and give me a hand.
Okay.
Come in. Over here, you guys, in those two chairs there.
Say, what's the idea?
What do you mean?
Now, listen. The next peep out of either one of you, and I'll knock your teeth down your throat. Who'd you hire to put the finger on Johnny Stone's jockey?
I'm not talking until I see my lawyer.
See? What'd I tell you, Mike?
Yeah, there are a couple of rats.
You've no right to hold us. I'll have it.
No? Shut the door, Mike. There's liable to be something going on in here that wouldn't sound nice outside. Now, you rats, who did you hire for that job? Well, I didn't think they'd talk. We'll keep them in the jug as long as we can. Meantime, we'll hope that something will break.
Where are you going now?
Down the street to the Bijou Theater. They're showing the first pictures of that race. I think maybe that seeing it again might refresh my mind on a few things.
It's a good idea.
You got everything all set, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, Captain. We're ready for those two guys. When we get them in here, we'll show you just what happened.
You seem pretty sure of yourself.
Yeah, we are. All right, Mike, bring them in.
Come on in, you. Just sit down over there. You take that chair, Randall, and you sit over here, Madero.
Say, what's all the baloney for? You haven't got a thing on us.
I wouldn't be too sure of that. Yeah? Oh, Mr. District Attorney, come in. You're just in time. I'll take that chair right over there by the captain.
Thanks.
Now, I'm going to show you, Mr. District Attorney, and you, Captain, how these two rats got a Chicago thug to kill Johnny Stone's jockey so High Flight wouldn't win that race.
You're full of hop.
Yeah? All right, turn the lights off, Mike.
Okay.
Now, start the picture machine, operator. You're now seeing the pictures of Freddie Tate's last ride. At the same time, we're showing only the final stretch of the race. Now, you see the horses flying down the track. You see a partial view of the crowd, and if you look real close in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see two men with a camera. Notice that one of the men has a black hood over the camera and over his head. Now, slow it down, operator.
Say, you can't pull this.
I won't shut that guy up, Mike. Now, watch that camera closely. There. You see that little puff of white smoke? Now, watch the man come out from under the hood and turn around and face the camera. There. Stop the machine there.
Great Scott. Spike Adams.
Yeah. Mike and I raided his hotel room and found the trick camera. It had a rifle with a silencer on it, mounted right inside under the hood. Spike came in while we were searching the place, reached for his rod, and Mike shot him to the stomach. He died about an hour ago. But before he died, he gave us a full statement saying that he was paid $1,000 for the job.
$1,000? Who paid him?
These gentlemen right here, Randall and Madero.